Joining me is Miss Mindy Zemrak, the one of the casting directors for Shark Tank, a very popular show. So tell me a little bit about this, Miss Mindy. How long have you been working with Shark Tank? This is awesome. This is a great opportunity.
Well, thank you for having me, first and foremost. We appreciate the support. I have been so fortunate. I have been on the show since season one, and we are in the midst of casting for season 15. So it's been a wild ride, but beyond proud and just thankful to be part of such a really amazing and special show that's been going on for so long and can help so many people.
Wow, that's fantastic. And yes, you guys are right now currently casting for the next season. What season of Shark Tank is this?
So we're still airing season 14, but we're actually casting now for season 15.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, see, when you get in the teens, that's when you know it's a fantastic, popular show. So, congratulations to you guys. Now, since you guys are casting, can you tell us like how the casting process works? How does it work? If somebody is an entrepreneur, they have a business, and they want to be on the show and get an investor. How does the process work?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So the main way that everyone can apply this season is to apply online. So they go to abc.com, they'll click on apply, and they'll fill out a very short form with a lot of questions that are very to the point. They can't get anything wrong. So it's things about like what stage your business is at. And then there's kind of a blank paragraph space for you to fill in. And that I really urge everyone to fill in with what makes you different and unique. So we tell everyone there's kind of like 3 or 4 tips to help everyone stand out. Because obviously when you're applying on the internet, it's challenging to stand out with words. But my first piece of advice is to tell us what makes you different and unique from anyone else. Obviously, these days it's hard to come up with something that's new. Most people have a twist on something that's already been done. So don't be afraid to take the bragging rights and run with it and say, hey, this is how I'm different and unique from anyone else. The second thing is to tell us if you have any numbers. Now, obviously, a lot of people think that Mr. Wonderful is going to just, come after you about those numbers. In the casting process, we don't have money to invest in you. So we're a lot more friendly than Mr. Wonderful. So if you have numbers, great. And if you don't, that's okay. This season specifically, we're actually looking for more early stage companies. So we would love to have people, maybe if they have, a working prototype and they just don't have the funding to bring it to market or to just bring it to manufacturing, we want to hear from you. And obviously, if you have something that has been around and maybe made a couple 100,000 or millions in sales and everything in between, it's a great fit for our sharks. The third thing is to fill us in a little bit about your backstory and your journey, because more often than not, 99% of the time, an entrepreneur has created this because of something in their life. And so their backstory is just as important, to the show as the product. And then the last thing is to just have fun with it. Show your personality, be excited, because if you're not excited about it, no one else is going to be. And the other thing that we just announced after a long 3-year hiatus due to the pandemic, we finally are coming back and doing in-person open casting calls. We just announced we'll be doing one on March 30th in Southern California at Morongo Resort and Spa. And we're really excited to see everyone in person. So if you want to come out and pitch us, you'll get about a 1-minute pitch, and then we'll ask a couple follow-up questions, and then that's it. But it does take us almost the entire day to do that. And so we're anticipating a big turnout. So yeah, mostly it's online, but we're slowly starting to get back out there on the road and hope to add more cities in the future.
Wow, sounds fantastic. Yeah, sounds like some good stuff. Looks like people can definitely get involved with this if they have a business. Now, let me ask you this. So, when you guys are casting, can people like apply if they have an idea, or does the business need to be already established? You need to have your S corporation, your LLC, or like how does that work?
That's a great question. I think there's a big misconception that people think they have to be incorporated or they have to be further along. If you have just an idea, like, and we're talking really early, like, drawing on a napkin, it might be a little too early. That's why I say if you at least have that working prototype, something tactile to be able to show to the sharks, that's really important. A great example was the Comfy. They came on a couple of years ago and they only had 4 prototypes. They didn't even have 5 to give one to each shark. And they've obviously gone on and done over $400 million in sales. So at least have a prototype. You don't even have to have 4. If you just have 1 and you need it, capital injection, it could be, a really great fit. So you should at least have that, but you don't have to have a patent. We don't require a patent. You don't have to be incorporated. We've had many people come on and they're just a product and they haven't even incorporated, and maybe they're not familiar with how to do that. So again, it's okay. And we encourage everyone to apply, because we do take companies that are across the board at different stages. And that's the great thing about the show, is you're not pitted up against anyone else. It's not a game show. You're truly in your own lane, and we just review thousands of them every year.
Wow, that sounds okay. That sounds pretty cool. Now, let me ask you this. So, I know recently, or I'm not really sure, but I know it was a few months ago, and I was watching this show, and I noticed you guys actually did your first live broadcast of Shark Tank.
Yes.
And that was kind of like it was kind of cool because it was different and something new, and everybody was able to experience that. So, could we see more live tapings in the future, or is it just strictly pre-recorded? Have you guys thought about that?
So that's a decision. It was very exciting, by the way, to be in that room. I mean, we've never opened up our little Shark Tank bubble, if you will, to the world. And the energy was amazing and everything. There were, different people have different opinions, and that's totally, totally valid. I don't know if we'll be doing that again. That's a decision made way above what I do. But obviously, I think that they're coming up with different ways to keep the show exciting and fresh. So it's not necessary that we'll have a live show this year, but it is entirely possible. But it also might be possible that they're coming up with other creative ideas of what to do, with the show in terms of like different types of episodes or different types of entrepreneurs and businesses. Years ago, probably 9 or 10 seasons ago, we used to do a veteran owned, only, or we did kid entrepreneurs only per episode. So you never know what, might be coming this year. But again, that's something I'm not involved with. I just have to find all the amazing entrepreneurs to go on the show.
Okay, sounds good. And you that's part of what you do, is you find the entrepreneurs to come on the show. Now, what I have noticed also is that there have been, of course, you have the regular sharks, the typical sharks that are on the show, but there are also some guest sharks that you guys might have come on. Any names for the future you might know about?
I wish I knew. Again, that's a decision that's made way outside of what I do. But I have no doubt they'll be definitely bringing in some more guest sharks. It always is fun to see, the OG sharks, see how they are with them and how they play and get along. Or in my opinion, sometimes you see like Mark Cuban peacocking, as I like to call it, like, let me show you how it works. Personally speaking, I hope that Emma Grede returns. I think she's a complete powerhouse and force to be reckoned with. And I just love what she stands for and represents. And she's doing amazing things with her entrepreneurs. And Daniel Lubitsky from Kind is also an amazing shark. And so who knows what this season will bring. But I have no doubt we will see some really exciting names come through the doors and see that hopefully they can, and make some entrepreneurs' dreams and lives really change this year.
Okay, sounds good. And just before we close out, I want to ask you this. We talked about earlier, we talked about how people can get on the show, what makes people stand out. Are there any no-nos that people like should absolutely are there stuff that people absolutely should not do, that's just like a turn off that you guys are just not going to accept them? Any no-nos?
That's a great question. The only kind of no-no I would say is, don't lead with, this industry is an X million-dollar industry or an X billion-dollar industry. We know that all of these industries are very large. And one thing I know that the sharks don't like to hear is, if I can get 1% of a blah, blah $1 million company, and the sharks are like, they get really heated, which I understand. So for us, from a casting perspective, that's not what's going to get you on the show. To get you on the show and hopefully to move you forward in the process is all about you. So, don't come in pretending to be someone. And if you're not this outgoing personality, that's okay. You don't have to be. We're not your typical reality show that's a competition. So I just tell everyone, stay true to who you are, what your business is. And at the end of the day, if you put your best foot forward and you tell us how you're different and unique, then hopefully, that's enough. But have fun with it. At the end of the day, we are a TV show, so we do want everyone to enjoy the process. And one thing I've learned a lot is everyone connects, they network with everyone that they meet through this process. And hopefully it's a great learning experience. But yeah, I would say the biggest thing is just don't talk about how the industry is, because you're wasting your time. It's really, truly about the entrepreneur and their business. And that's what we focus on.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, some good stuff there. And I got to ask you this before we go too. You guys are having the in-person casting in California. What time should people get in line to make sure that, because I know you guys probably won't be able to do every single person. So what time should people be getting in the line?
Well, we pride ourselves on seeing every single person that shows up and has a wristband. So I've never turned anyone away to date. And obviously, it's been a couple years. So per the venue, we cannot not have anyone line up before 7 a.m. So you can get there at 7 a.m. You'll line up. We start handing out wristbands at 9 a.m. and you will be told a time to return sometime during that day, because it does take us a while, especially if there's a lot of people. So just be prepared that you could be there all day waiting. We do interviews all day into the evening. Sometimes we've in the past, pre-COVID, we used to have large turnouts and we would do interviews until 11 p.m. So I just ask for everyone to be patient, and you bring an application, which you can get on our website. And then if you have samples, certainly bring some. But if they're very large items like mattresses and toilets or animal, don't bring those. That's not necessary. But as long as you're there between 9 and 11 a.m. and get a wristband, you will be seen at some point that day.
Awesome. Sounds fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Miss Mindy. I appreciate you taking time to talk to us about Shark Tank casting. And those of you guys who are watching and listening right now, hey, if you have a business, this is your opportunity, your golden opportunity to get in front of some amazing sharks and have your business heard and possibly get an investment. So thank you so much, Miss Mindy, for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.